Lost is on.
Welcome back, everybody, to Bite Size Thursday, a subsidiary of Slate Media. We are watching Lost today because it's good, we think.
Yeah.
Do you think, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot. Sometimes.
I know you do, buddy. I know you do.
He just doesn't talk a lot.
Hey, man, sometimes thoughts have a hard time getting to the mouth. Anyway, like right now. Today we're watching Season 4, Episode 5, our favorite episode. I think we all agreed on this, that The Constant was pretty much our favorite episode, right?
I think it's like internet known like best episode of Lost. Like this is the episode of Lost for people to watch to like what is the episode to watch to get why people like Lost. The epitome of the show.
That is so weird to think about because it's in the middle of a bunch of insanity and doesn't like connect any dots to anything.
Yeah, I think it's because in terms of story structure and narrative and how trippy it is and how all over the place and the time stuff and I think that's why.
I think it's because it's a Christmas episode.
I don't think that's the reason.
And it's a true love story.
That probably is true.
Because Penny and Desmond have the best love story ever.
They really do. They really do.
At least for this episode.
So, if I recall, it's after the Hatch debacle, he's now jumping through time and he has to call her, like connect with her once a year so he doesn't like
No, it's only once.
Oh, it's just once?
It's only once, and it's that time because he knows where she'll be. He has to call her in the present. No, he has to connect with her in the present as well as in the past. So he connects with her at that one where he gives her the phone number and says, call me at this number or give me your phone number and I'm going to call you at this point in time in the future. And then he has to, so he makes that connection. The way I understand it is if he doesn't make one in the present and in the past, his brain like doesn't know where it goes and gets scrambled like Sawyer with the eggs last week.
Oh, yes. And also Locke with his eggs.
Yes.
Aaron, what do you remember about The Constant?
I mean, I kind of remember it generally, like everything you're saying sounds like what the episode was. I remember liking this episode. I'm looking forward to watching it again because it's been, I don't know how many years now.
Yeah, I think it probably is harder for you guys than me because I think you probably haven't watched it again since I know I've done at least one watch through of this show since it aired. And maybe even this episode I've seen, because, I used to be a part of the news groups. And so I think for this, I had a downloaded copy or a digital copy on my computer. And I probably watched it 3 or 4 times right after it aired. I used to do that a lot with Lost just because you'd be like, what Easter eggs are in here? And spoiler alert, there were never really any Easter eggs.
Also, mutual friend of all of us, Steve, this was like one of the things he always touted.
This was his jam.
Yeah, this was like one of the best pieces of media ever.
Man, dude, 2008 was a good year for media for him. The Dark Knight also.
That's true, yeah. He had quite the year.
Movie.
Yeah.
And the first reboot of Star Trek, right?
That's 2009.
Okay.
But still, in that era, and it's funny, like, when he watched this and when he watched The Dark Knight, he's way younger than we are all now. He's like 24. In 2008.
Oh, yeah.
He's 24 years old when he was talking about that, and here we are all well past 24. Some of us well past 24.
Yeah, when I was 24, I was still in school. I haven't been in school for
16 years.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah,
you remember that moment?
old.
You remember that moment when we took you to see the general? When I took you to see the general at the Redford, and we're sitting in that diner, and we're talking about something about school, and Drew and I had that moment where we were like, we both at the same time realized how long we'd known each other, and we moved up like this and went.
Yeah, you both went. Didn't I say like?
You said something.
It was like, I think it was. Yeah, when did you get done, Drew? And it's like 09, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Jake got done 2010. You guys, I think you've known each other longer than you didn't. And you both went.
And he went, shut up right now.
Yeah, shut up right now. I don't need to hear that. That's probably how he said it.
Yeah.
He's a gem.
He's a gem.
You know what else is a gem?
This episode.
Yes.
Are we ready to watch it?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, we are going to get into the constant because we just can't wait anymore. So everybody, let's get lost in time. Merry Christmas, everyone. Forgot where I was. Sorry, I went back to 1996 there for a second.
Hey, I was 2.
Shut up. 2 years after the Bronco chase, huh?
Yep. Christmas 1996. Yeah, I was like 2.5.
What a time to be alive. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. We just watched a Lost episode, or season 4, episode 5.
Yep.
The Constant. Gentlemen, is this still our favorite episode?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
It is very well edited. Very well edited.
Yeah.
Let's see AI do that stuff. It can't.
Yeah. Especially I remembered that phone call between Desmond and Penny to be good, but then once you hit there and you remember the context of they haven't interacted
for 8 years
in the present timeline
for 8 years.
I was just gonna say the whole show that we've known him. He's talked about her, and this is the first time we see them interact, not in a flashback, where it's like finally. Jake over there getting teary-eyed.
I was tearing up, man. There aren't a whole lot of things that make me cry in media like that. Wreck-It Ralph being one of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to get so emotional. And then the Lonely Island kicked in, and it took me out of it for a minute.
Well,
he is on a boat.
He did say, I'm on a boat.
But
wouldn't it be funny if that's where that idea for the Lonely Island came from?
That would be right up there with the Step Brothers boat scene. I like how they record them smashing into the rocks. I don't like that movie all that much, but like when it just cuts from them like screaming to the POV of the boat just crashing, that's what makes me laugh in that movie. And that's got to be around the time the Lonely Island did, because isn't Step Brothers like 08 as well?
Maybe.
I think it is. So
I thought no, I'm on a boat was before 2012.
Yeah, it's within a certain amount of years of each other. It can't be a coincidence. It can't be. I refuse to believe that the Lonely Island came up with that on their own. I'm kidding.
I mean, that's probably their claim to fame, isn't it? Don't they have like one more?
There's that song about stuff
that,
in their pants.
Yeah, that would be the other one.
When they got movies too.
They have movies?
Well, yeah. Isn't Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping? Like all of them.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know that movie? Where Andy Samberg is a pop star? It's like a mockumentary type deal.
Nope, I don't much care for mockumentaries.
Gotcha. Oh, interesting. I've never seen it.
That includes Spinal Tap. I just don't that much care for Spinal Tap.
I love Spinal Tap.
Do you love Spinal Tap too?
Oh, I thought you were saying to Aaron, like, do you love it? No, it's all right.
Aaron doesn't look like he's ever seen Spinal Tap 1.
No.
Yeah. Well, now Spinal Tap 2 feels different because now that's Rob Reiner's last movie. Directed and acting, from what I know. Like, now it's completely different context than what it originally was. So maybe it's going to aged differently than what I thought it would. I thought it might just be kind of forgotten, but I don't think it will be forgotten now because of the context surrounding it, the tragic context surrounding it.
Not to be insensitive, but just to segue. Speaking of forgotten things.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I always sort of did again to avoid not trying to be insensitive here. I've always kind of thought of this as like, oh, I wonder if this is sort of like how people with Alzheimer's experience life as they're walking through that.
Have you ever seen The Father with Anthony Hopkins? Came out
No.
in 2020. It's based off a play, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but the way the movie functions is people and things and the location around him change throughout the movie because he's misremembering things, because he's dealing with dementia. And it is fascinatingly put together, and it is heartbreaking to watch.
Isn't Alzheimer's what the wife is afflicted with in Amor?
Yeah, she has some kind of dementia, I remember. It's been a while. I don't know if it's Alzheimer's specifically, but I know she has a form of dementia, and he's caring for her.
That seems like another heartbreaking movie.
It's a rough watch. It's a rough watch for me, and I'm not married or in a relationship, so I can't imagine what it's like for people who are married and people who have been married for like 30 or more years. Like, I don't know how effective that is to them. If it's effective for me, it's got to be effective for others that connect to it more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a hard movie. It's great. It's just breaks my heart.
I wonder if that's kind of where this idea stemmed out of. Because it's kind of a random idea to come up with, don't you think? Just out
For
of
the constant?
Yeah.
Everything comes from somewhere, I feel. I feel like if there's some like random thing, like I'm trying to think who wrote this episode. I should have pulled it up, but it's like some random 50s episode of a TV show did something that's like bare bones version of this once that they saw as a kid, and they go, I want to do that. And of course, with the different ways TV changed from then to when this aired,
I mean,
it's just they put together a variation of the original idea they had. It comes from somewhere.
You can make that argument that the technological world that we're living in right now is bore out of science fiction.
Oh, yeah.
So
You can make the case it's always been that way.
yeah, you can make the case that science fiction has driven any technological advancement we've had since movies started.
Oh, yeah, tech's always driven movies and vice versa. Like, it feeds into each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. That's why I love looking at, like, when the change to sound happened, because the technology went backwards in some things for movies because they had to figure out how to make sound work with it.
That's one of the most interesting scenes in The Artist, is where they're trying to figure out where to hide the mic.
I don't remember that in The Artist. I remember that in Singing in the Rain.
Yep, that's okay. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay. It's like the Artist, I don't think, deals with that part of the transition because they're focusing more on his character.
Is that part of Singing in the Rain black and white?
No, the whole movie is... but they're filming... The thing they're filming's in black and white. Like the movie. That's probably what you're thinking of, that movie they're making. The Dueling Cavalier, as it was called, before they changed it to a musical.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then there's a scene from Babylon, which came out a couple years ago, that also deals with that, which is a play on that Singing in the Rain scene, because I know Damien Chazelle is a huge Singing in the Rain fan, and that's part of the movie, but it's like Margot Robbie's character keeps coming out and missing her mark, like she's got the X on the floor. She has to stand in that specific spot for the mic to pick her up because of the limited technology, and she keeps missing it, so when she says her line, they can't hear her, and it turns into everyone screaming at each other. It's great. It's one of the best scenes of that movie. It's a decent movie. So,
but anyway, The Constant.
Yeah. It's interesting how I was looking at it. Yep, hit the wrong button. It was interesting how it's not connecting much to anything yet that we've had so far in the season.
I don't really think it ever does.
And I can't remember what else it does.
I was just thinking that. I remember watching it thinking, oh yeah, this is going to get good and it's going to get interesting. Yeah. And then it just never does anything with it.
It's funny. I would say it's funny how I wouldn't call it a filler episode, but you could probably make the case for it because it's not feeding into the larger narrative. It's a character episode.
So I do think it is feeding it. I think it's laying the groundwork for the fact, again, speaking from, I've seen the whole entirety of the show a couple of times. I think it's laying the groundwork for the fact that the island is not anchored in time.
Okay. Yeah.
And that if you try to leave the island incorrectly or get exposed to too much of the island's energy, you stand the potential to also not be anchored in time.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. What I'm saying is it feels like a separate thing from the rest of the season so far, and I think you said it doesn't really continue most of what's set up. Well,
yeah, because it's like, okay, so they sell it earlier that Desmond has this power that he can see into the future, which is now this, right? It turns into this kind of.
They went through the storm that surrounds the island,
but
that's why it threw him off.
No, because I would say that this is an evolution of the forward-seeing thing that he had with Charlie in season 3, but they don't really do a great job of drawing that line.
But remember, George Minkowski said he and Brandon, the unseen now and deceased crew member, went out to see the island, so they had to go through that like electrical thing.
Yeah,
and that gave it to them too. I'm saying it is a thing, but it's because Desmond was around electromagnetism because of the hatch thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's that when they went through that storm, that turned him into whatever happened to him with having to have Penny be his constant.
But then, why wouldn't it do it with Saeed because he was exposed to the same electromagnetism? That brings up when you start dissecting this in one of those pieces of media, you just have to kind of accept it for what it is.
Yeah. It feeds into something, and this is really fun. I wrote it down on my notepad. For my master's program this week, the module was covering television shows and authorship on television shows, and Lost came up, and I read like 2 pages of this thing called Authorship by Jason Mattel for Complex TV was the article. It's like 30 pages long. And he talks about Lost, and I'm reading, I go, this is fun, because this is like 2 days before we're recording. And what he told me was how people attribute Lost to J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams directed the pilot and had no direct involvement with the show after like the halfway point of season 1. He did like nothing. He was an executive producer, but he had other properties he was working on.
Lindelof, those the...
Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cruz are like the 2 guys that were the showrunners. And I read that. I go, that's so interesting how in our minds it's a J.J. Abrams show. He helped create the show, directed the pilot, and then that was kind of it. And it was just fascinating to when they were talking about like there was no long-term plan for any of these story threads in season 1 because they didn't think the pilot would be greenlit because it was expensive. It was the most expensive TV pilot ever produced, I believe, at the time.
Because of where it had to be filmed, probably, and because of what they had to accomplish in it.
Yeah, and they filmed on film. Mm-hmm. Is another thing.
Well, because it was prior to 2008, so not everything had switched over to digital yet.
Yeah, and some things were filmed on like videotape and cheaper versions, but like it was an expensive endeavor. So they came up with all these crazy things to introduce because they didn't think they'd get it, and now they got it, and they have a pretty good structure for season 1 that we've talked about. But the reason I think that when you finish the show and a lot of things aren't addressed or aren't tied up well, it's because they kind of started this, before they're running before their feet hit the ground.
Like what we were talking about last week when we said, a lot of the way that shows are written now don't look beyond the first season.
Yep.
They don't look beyond their first story arc.
And it's because of how easily shows are axed. It's always been that way, but these days especially when things just seemingly get cut after one season. It's like they don't give them a chance.
Mhm.
And that's always been the case, but I think in the streaming age it's changed.
It's
too.
interesting just to compare. I don't know that you can really compare these two mediums for storytelling, but I'm going to anyways. You look at something like this, and then you look at something like the way an anime will tell a story. It's interesting because they set a lot of animes up like One Piece. You're kind of basically told that the end of One Piece will probably be when Luffy finds the One Piece or becomes the Pirate King or whatever. Or Naruto. I'm more familiar with Naruto. I can do this better for Naruto. You're told that basically the end goal of the anime is for Naruto to be the Hokage. In that span of story, anything can happen so long as it always is driving towards that lofty goal. This doesn't really have that.
Yeah. And it's like those long mangas and anime, they do that so they can just keep mass producing for a long number of years, whereas they have to go season by season. That's American television.
Well, actually,
once it's not making money, they cut it.
Animes have kind of switched. They used to do that, like where they didn't take breaks. They take breaks like American TV now. It's weird. It's weird to be someone like me and have existed in that space where they do it every week, except for a couple weeks off they take for holidays and whatnot. And because of that, there's all sorts of filler and all that stuff. And now they just do the stories and they just take the breaks.
Yeah, the westernization of Eastern culture.
Yeah, but it's interesting how that has, I would say for our media, it has made storytelling weaker. But I would say that for that media, it's made it actually stronger.
It's like finding a medium, like middle ground of the strengths of each are kind of playing into each other for the better.
I mean, can you imagine if something like Demon Slayer was running at the same time that the anime was, and they had to take a break where they still made a separate story, but it didn't go along with it? They did a filler arc.
Well, the Hashira training arc. Everyone hates that.
It's not a filler arc.
It's not. It's called downtime. You need it after what came before and what's coming. And I don't even know everything that comes. And it's like, we need this. We need to develop things and take a breather for a second. And it's only like 6 episodes of taking a break out of that whole show.
I will say the one thing that I feel about Demon Slayer is that it is kind of underdeveloped once it gets into that pace.
Oh, yeah. It just kind of takes off. And we've talked about that on here before where it's taken out of her hands.
I was going to say it's not all her fault, but I don't know. Anime is just such an interesting thing that we need to cover more anime on Bite Sized.
Yeah.
Back to Lost, though.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing about authorship, it's like Lloyd Braun is like one of the producers or someone at ABC that was like one of the biggest names pushing for this thing to exist and keep it going. And it's crazy how I don't think he's credited, but it also plays into how much of the show is his. And he's actually the voice that says the previously on Lost is him. And it said that in this article. And I just thought it was fascinating to read this days before we're recording again after our hiatus. And I'm reading about how like this show came to be and how Lost is kind of the reason why Grey's Anatomy exists the way it does. Because Lost and Desperate Housewives were getting all the focus for ABC, they did not care what Shonda Rhimes did with Grey's Anatomy. She kind of had freedom to do what she wanted to develop it because they didn't see it being a juggernaut like these other two, which Desperate Housewives and Lost were mega hits. So once those two shows ended, and Grey's was already pretty successful at that point and huge, they were able to stay within their lane of molding it how they want because they had the freedom when it was greenlit, because Lost and Desperate Housewives took all of the attention of like the head honchos.
I can't believe that show is still going. It's on like 16 seasons now, isn't it?
But yeah, something like that, and probably more. And I mean, the 300th episode was...
That would have been in season 10.
Season 10?
Usually a show is like 21, 22 seasons, right?
That'd be 200
So,
episodes.
So 100. Yeah,
Season
you're
two.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I thought I saw we were getting close to 300, or we might have passed it by now. I'm not sure, but it was fascinating to read about like how media's one big tapestry. Like Grey's Anatomy's inception comes around the same time of like Lost and Desperate Housewives, but then those spun out of these creators coming off of other things which came off of it. All starts with when the first thing was filmed in the 18 whatevers, when it was just pictures put together. Like everything's connected like that.
It's also hilarious how you just never know what's going to last for that long like that. Like Supernatural going on for 15 years.
15 years.
15 years. Like how?
Yeah. And it's fun too when you look back at properties and you recognize names behind the scenes. Like I'm working through King of the Hill again, and it's like, oh, I know Mike Judge, and then Greg Daniels. After his involvement with King of the Hill, he went on to create The Office. Oh, there's Jim Dotrieve in the credits. He's one of the big guys on Bob's Burgers. Oh, Brad Bird was a consultant in season 1. We all know Brad Bird for his animated films.
All you're really telling me is that Hollywood is nepotism.
Why don't I say nepotism? They're not all related to each other.
Might as well be.
What I'm saying is it's interesting how they're in these smaller roles when they're young, like anyone, and you see the progression, but you don't recognize them it's just like actors. I'm not saying anything profound. I'm just pointing out how it's fun to go back to older properties and see recognizable names. It's like watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and all those names of the younger actors who are now breaking out.
One that I see a lot because of the name, because of how he denotes the name, I think. I forget exactly what he did on Supernatural, but Mick G.
Oh, yeah, from Kalamazoo.
I see him everywhere.
Yeah. Kalamazoo native Mick G. I think his first movie I think he directed, or one of them was We Are Marshall. That's like 07. Terminator Salvation I think he also directed. I don't remember what he's directed in the last decade plus.
He's a good Supernatural director, I'll tell you that much.
And it's the same when you look at like directors like how like the Russo brothers came from Arrested Development and Community.
That's so wild to me.
I know. It's like, how can you come from such very rich stylistic shows and then you make some pretty bland movies? For how much I like some of them, they don't have much of a style in those Marvel movies that I've seen.
To be very, very fair to you, you like them going up into them.
Yeah.
And then you watch them and you're like, eh.
It's almost like they're better at being the directors when the creative source is strong. Because when you're working with, like Dan Harmon for Community, he's kind of the one in control. You're just helping bring it to fruition.
Know. I think it's also hard to make the argument that the Marvel in itself is not a strong creative source. But making something out of something else is different than making something out of a blank canvas. And
it's just like a lot of TV art is, it's by committee. And when you have a film series by committee like that, which the creative voice you can say is Feige, but also like he's not telling you how to do every little thing. It's just he keeps you within limitations to keep it within the brand, because it's a brand that they have to keep now.
Didn't I read that he's retiring or something?
Something. He's stepping down soon.
Who's going to take his place?
I have no idea. I mean, he's been doing this for almost 20 years.
It's just like,
I wonder if 2028, I wonder if he's going to hit the 20-year mark on this universe and then call it.
You mean end it with hopefully Robert Downey Jr.'s second end?
Well, it won't end. It's just his involvement will end. I'm saying
Robert Downey Jr.'s second end. Maybe his involvement will end.
Pretty stupid to build this up this much, have him be in these two Avengers movies, and then his villain's just gone. But that's what they've always done.
Hold on.
It's just funny. It's just funny.
I mean, okay, to be perfectly fair, though, all of this is because of what happened with, what's his name?
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, threw a wrench in their works. But all the way back to the Constant. This does feel like hey, this is a cool idea to do for an episode. And then it develops into the best episode of the show. But then the lingering effects of this, from what we remember, aren't as big as we wanted them to be, because this is such a cool concept.
Well, and
that
the way
kind of
and the way it
wrap
ends with
up.
Faraday finding what he wrote in the journal in 1996, it's like, yeah, and then watching it for the first time, you're like, yeah, where's this gonna go? Yeah, and then it just doesn't do anything beyond that.
Well, the other thing,
Not that I remember, anyways.
Yeah, the other thing is like the end of the episode has that eeriness that they end a lot of their episodes on, to kind of drum up that response. But it's like seeing that written in there doesn't evoke an eeriness for me. It's just kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. Of course he'd do that.
The other thing, the other thing that they start to involve is, I think they tried to do it because if I remember correctly, in the next season, there's this storyline where they have to find the island. Remember that big compass that they swung over the map?
Yeah, that's 5, right? 5. They're trying to get back.
think
That
so.
sounds right. Yeah. So we're starting to see the change. I think I remember we said last week, like, the first 4 episodes felt pretty much like Lost that we knew it, but this is the change.
We're starting to see the change where it goes from, okay, this is not entirely, it's not entirely normal. Like, there's a supernatural element to it, but then after this, it just kind of leans full tilt into.
Yeah, just going bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, we've been talking a lot. Do you have any thoughts that you've not been able to say between our haranguing?
I may have had some at some point.
Haranguing is a fun word.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Harangue.
No. I don't know.
What do you think about the
Probably.
constant?
Yeah, it was good.
I'm glad you liked it.
Me too.
Would you say it's your favorite episode?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
We'll see what's yet to come.
I can hear
But
you.
it's probably-
I can hear you hemming and hawing
Did it?
to our point, and then I think, oh, he probably has something to say, but he's not going to butt in. So I cut to you and brought it up
Oh, yeah,
so you could
yeah.
share something, and then you don't have anything. Which
Did the conversation between Desmond and Penny get to you like it got to? Maybe not quite as hard as it got to me.
It did, yeah. I mentioned that. It was getting to me, and then we brought up Lonely Island, and it took me out of it. And then they
We
started
did do it.
cutting back and forth again between Desmond and Penny, and yeah, that was good.
Jake, you said it best. The editing is the MVP of the episode, though. For
Yeah.
how good the writing and the performances are, that editing
Again,
is
you're
really
not
good.
So my wife and I recently watched a show called Off Campus. It's fairly new to. I don't know
Yeah,
at this
I know
point.
what
Is
it
it
is.
fairly new?
Not when this airs.
When we recorded this, it was fairly new to Amazon, and my wife and I recently watched the entire thing, and like, it's not my thing. It's I would call it Amazon's heated rival. Or, sorry. Maybe you might need to edit this out. Straight person's heated rivals.
Straight person's heated rivalry.
I'm not incorrect.
Okay.
Regardless, it's a hockey show, and there's all sorts of like stuff.
Yeah.
Not my thing, but there were several times during that show where I looked at Andre and I said, that is so well edited. That is so. The tools that big companies are using to edit videos right now cannot tell stories like that, cannot evoke emotions like that. And while I don't really like this, I can appreciate that.
You appreciate the craft,
Mm-hmm.
even but it's not your preference.
AI can't do that. AI
No.
can't capture an emotion like that.
Oh, not just we point to the editing of when he goes in and out. Desmond goes in and out of his going back and forth. The editing in their phone call when they start speaking in tandem, saying "I love you," and it's just was so good because it's most of the episodes not like that when it's paced that well, because that kind of editing is all over the place nowadays where it's so fast and there's no rhythm, and that was like perfectly timed to where you'd start slower and then it slowly picks up as they're linking together, and I was like, that's a good way to use that.
Yeah.
So that I just wanted to bring that up, Jake. Your point about the editing of the episode is kind of the hero.
Absolutely. I was wrong, though. Michael's not in this episode.
Yeah, you were saying that during, like, Michael. Well, I was also wrong. I said last week, like, Lapidus hadn't been introduced, but then when they were in the helicopter, I go, oh, he has been introduced. I completely forgot they were on the helicopter during the last episode. Like, it's our break kind of threw us all for a loop, and of course, it's one of both these episodes, the last week and this week, did not have a previously on beforehand. So it's like, oh, great, we have this, like, 2-month break we had to take. And we don't get a recap for some reason. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I'm still going to make the argument that the writer's strike made this show stronger in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas other shows, pushing daisies.
Literally push
Smallville.
daisies, yeah.
Smallville's not the same after the writer's strike, although part of that is because that's when the showrunner, the original showrunners left.
What are their names?
Alfred
Goo.
Goff. I always thought it was Goff.
Gaw? I don't know. It
And
looked
then,
like
like,
goo,
Miles-
and I like saying goo.
Miles Miller or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. You know, I should know that because it's their credit that shows up when the episode ends.
Every single time.
Just like a normal show. It's like Breaking Bad ends, it's Vince Gilligan. Better Call Saul ends, it's Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould. Not Gould. That was Gould. But I want to say Gould.
Gould. What's our deal? I got to catch up to where you were at in Smallville, and then we're going to watch an episode of it a week.
Or something like that. I think I'm in season 3.
Oh,
Have you even started?
No.
Yeah, we're never going to watch this show together.
Oh, you watch. I just got to finish The Boys first.
Didn't you just start?
Yeah, I only just watched the second episode of it.
Gotcha. So you got like 58 episodes left.
Is there really that many episodes?
Is it? No, 48.
You know, this is not about Lost, but you know, I would have never guessed that was Carl Urban from On the Boys.
Oh, really? It looks just like him.
Not to my brain. Doesn't sound just like him either. Of course, I think my only other exposure to him is really Pete's Dragon.
Not Star Trek?
Yeah.
The Abrams Star Trek movies?
Oh,
Bones.
I forgot about that too.
He's Bones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like him there either.
It's because he has no facial hair.
Well, yeah.
Same as Lord of the Rings. He's Éomer. He has the beard. He just has got the long hair.
Huh.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh,
Yeah, that's
my.
him. That's what I
Wait,
know.
wait,
him
wait.
from. And then
I need to see a picture. We need to end this so I can see a picture.
and
Also,
he's Dredd in the Judge Dredd remake.
I've not seen that.
Gotcha. Like he's been around. He's been in.
Oh, I don't
big
doubt
stuff.
that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed it from
Yeah.
just watching the 2 episodes of The Boys that I have. Which, by the way, people were not lying about that. That is a very good show.
It is good. I'm gonna pull out the list, and I'm gonna change my favorite character to Desmond. Same with Aaron because I really want to. I got this. Let's see, season.
I want to change my favorite character.
To who?
Penny.
Penny. All right. Here. Okay. So season 4, episode 5. I changed my favorite to Desmond, and Jake changed his favorite character to Penny from Juliet.
Yeah.
Aaron, you keeping your favorite?
Yep.
All right.
What is your favorite?
Desmond.
So Aaron changed his favorite character to Desmond in season 3, episode 3, and it stayed the same. My favorite character is Hurley since season 1, episode 10, and I said in the past it was gonna change to probably to Desmond at some point, and this is the moment it changes. And we all still hate Kate.
Who's had the most changes?
Let's see.
Probably me.
This is the second time I've changed my favorite character, and I only changed my least once. Jake, you've changed your favorite character 4 times, and you've never changed your least, which makes sense. Aaron's changed his favorite character twice, and his least favorite character 3 times. So
That should just tell you I can be swayed with emotion.
yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. I have written it down, so now it's changed. Aaron and I have the same favorite character. Again.
Yeah.
And I have their favorite character's love interest.
Yeah. Again. You're going to do the challengers thing to us now. Over again.
I can't. I'm not sitting in the middle anymore.
You can still watch. If anything, now me and Aaron are closer than ever.
Anyway, are we all good?
Yeah.
All right. That's all our thoughts on The Constant. We'll be back at you next week with next week's episode. I don't remember what the title is.
It's The Other Woman.
Ooh, The Other Woman. And until then, Jared, where can they find us on the internets?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, The Funny TikTok, and Twitter. Take that, Musk. And if you want to listen to us, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Have, YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring that notification bell. Make sure you check us out and rate us on all those apps. And swing by our groovy website.
And other than that, we will be back at you next week. But until then, let's go find our constants.